I wanted to talk what you said before, Sass, as well, where you said you had a private and a main. And I know this is common with most people now, but I just wanted to touch on it because I think it's an important part of social media as well. And I just want to hear why do you have a private and why do you have a private and a main
Also, maybe explain the concept because
of
some people who
private?
don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. So my private is just me being me, like my actual personality, which is different to how I perceive myself on my main. Not in a bad way, but like on my main, I get a lot of people who meet me for the first time saying like, "Oh, I thought you were really boring. Like I thought you were really stuck up, like from your Instagram, from your Snapchat, but you're really not." And like, so my private is just me, just having fun, basically posting whatever I want. Like I put stuff on there to help people, like quotes and stuff if they're like going through a rough time. Like I don't know, it's just me being me, I guess.
See, that's so. And I'm not. I'm obviously Saskia. No dig on you at all.
Yeah, I know. Don't
I
worry.
have. I have a public. I have a private Snapchat story, so it's pretty much the same thing. But isn't it so
Got Snap as
weird
well.
that we find this need to, social media is a perfect way to show your presentation, present your personality to the world. Yet you have this very, very secret group who are the only ones who can actually see the unfiltered personality, and then you have this completely other personality, which is what other people see.
I can back this up because there's a boundary, right? There's something
Of
called
course.
the social norms in psychology where
Yep.
you have
Oh,
to follow these social norms in order to be viewed as quote I'm going to do quote unquote normal or average in society, right? And so
yeah,
some of the stuff that we might put on our private, like same as me, I don't want to show some of the stuff that I have in my private to the public world, right? Not
yeah,
because I'm naked or
definitely.
anything, unfortunately, but it's because it's
Although I
it's
mean, sometimes.
it's private to me and my friends. Like it's almost like I only want them to see, not because I'm scared of anyone else of seeing it, for the fact that I have a different personality. It's the fact that I just want those eyes seeing it as it's probably as an experience to do with them and me, and so we can all relate to it, rather than I don't know, some fucking Bob and Jerry mate looking at my Snapchat story or something of me like doing something crazy, you know? That
No, it totally makes sense. You're right.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
That's the reason why I have a private, like, is to keep those memories and experiences that I shared with the people that only follow it. I don't want, and obviously there's probably stuff on there that I isn't good to look in a public eye, right? I'm not saying I'm naked or anything, but
No, no, you're. I completely understand because
yeah,
sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
no,
You
I
can
mean,
continue. I was just gonna say, like, the problem. I think the thing is, the reason this has happened is because social media isn't. It isn't this group. Your social media isn't constricted to your group of close friends. It is basically a group of people that you either have known, have met, have talked to in some quantity over whatever period of time that you have that account. You're never going to be your complete self to like you don't even in person. You go and see an old classmate in real life. You're going to be very, you're following social traditions. You'll be like, oh, how are you? How's the family? Blah 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 blah. What are you doing nowadays? That sort of thing. It's a very it's a procedure, like it's a socially expected procedure almost. And I'm not trying to make it like robotic. I'm just saying that it's just what most people do. You don't like go up to them and you're telling them all these weird personal anecdotes that you've just experienced because they have no context. They don't know you that well, and they might be on your Snapchat, that old classmate. They might be on your Facebook. Obviously, you're not going to be acting that way. You're going to present yourself in a more professional way. It's funny because social media now, like a main account or a Facebook account, is basically you during that the representation of you during that polite interaction with someone you haven't seen for a long time.
yeah, literally, yeah,
And then the
Yeah.
private is basically just genuinely the representation of a real you for your close friends.
yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, you're right, because it's almost like link it again to the podcast name. It's behind closed doors. It's what's happening behind closed doors
Oh, Always slip it in there somewhere.
I know, mate. Hold on.
So
I'm
you
not gonna. Right, yeah. Yeah. It's like you said. It's your real self, your real, I guess, ego, or your real persona is your private. But
Yeah.
I use my main on Instagram and stuff. Is just to update my life on what.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people that I haven't
It's
seen.
literally just because the scale of social media that has come to you. Like maybe back in the day, you did just have your close friends on Facebook, and maybe you could share and say and do stuff that was genuinely a representation of yourself. But the scale of it nowadays, like you said, 2.6 billion monthly
Monthly users,
users,
yeah, that's
mental figure,
mad.
and the fact that all those people could have, if they search your name, they have access to at least some information on you, depending on your privacy settings. Obviously, you're not going to be reflecting your true, unfiltered personality, like the one that you are exhibiting when you're with someone you're comfortable with. It's not. It couldn't. It doesn't work. So, in terms of how we act in person, in society, it makes sense. So social media is basically a mirror now of how we act with people. For a lot, not for
Yeah,
all
no,
people, obviously,
you're right. Yeah,
it's pretty different. But I think for a lot of people, for like myself included, my Instagram, complete. You don't want to put in. You don't want to put offensive stuff or slightly risky jokes or anything like that. You don't show that to the outside world because there are so many people who I'm not very personal or not very close with who are going to see it. So it's just like it's a reflection of how we act, how we are in real life. I think.
yeah,
Personally.
I get what you mean. Like, let's say I meet someone that I haven't seen this from school for a while. I'm not gonna be my exact self that I am with my friends. It's almost like we've just adapted as humans just to. I'm not saying I'd be more hostile, but I'd be just friendly and nice. But I wouldn't be like my true self just
No,
because
that's
not.
what I'm saying.
It
Yeah,
must be. It
absolutely.
must link to like being comfortable. Like you don't know them as well, so you're not as
Yeah,
comfortable
yeah.
around them. It must
That's
be that.
exactly what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying. Yeah.
yeah. It must
Just
be.
it's just this level of social interaction, how it works, and the way that we exhibit our personality with our friends, etc. Because social media nowadays it isn't a way to share with your friends. It's a way to basically market yourself on the internet, your personality. That's it.
Yep.